Coming up next on 6 News.
How is New Orleans saying welcome home to the troops? I'm Janet Witters. I'll have the story coming up.
I'm Jared Brew. Tonight we'll show you why more hazardous chemicals are coming to Louisiana and why the EPA says you don't have a right to know about it.
Plus teenagers and money. 6 News is next.
This is a hamburger. Now it's a cheeseburger. Hey, now it's a sausage biscuit. Because from now on, you can get our original juicy hamburger for just 49 cents. Delicious cheeseburger for 59 cents. And mouth-watering sausage biscuit for just 69 cents. Our new real value menu. With a dime here and a dime there, now there's a real value. You know where. You'll love the change at McDonald's.
Sting, Saturday night, March 23rd, UNO. Want free tickets from 6 WDSU?
For Sting? You bet.
Here's all you gotta do. Watch 6 News at 10 o'clock Monday through Friday all next week.
Every night?
Every night. Write down the topics of the Earth Care 6 tips on a postcard. Include your name, address, and phone number. Mail it to Sting, care of 6 WDSU, 520 Royal Street, New Orleans, 70130. Each winner receives 2 free tickets.
Earth Care tips and free Sting tickets. I love it.
Hard. I'm finding that I can't keep money.
The more you make, the more you spend.
You get the things that you need first, and then what you want later.
Teens and money. How do they make it? Where do they spend it? I'm 6 News reporter Russ Roberts. Watch Teenagers and Tough Decisions tonight. We'll show you how to make dollars and cents of your teen.
Making dollars and cents of your teen. Tonight on 6 News. Sponsored by River Oaks Hospital, Light 105, and pick up your brochure at K&B drugstores. WDSU 6, New Orleans. And now, 6 News tonight.
Good evening, I'm Leslie Hill.
And I'm Norman Robinson. Lynn Ganser has the night off. Our top story, with smiles as wide as the Grand Canyon, American troops are leaving the Persian Gulf, confident their mission has been accomplished. This is the 2nd Brigade of the 82nd Airborne Division, going home after 200 days in the desert sands.
So great, we're going home. What are you going to do when you get there? Drink beer?
Thousands of troops will head home over the next few days, and in about an hour and a half, some 100 troops from the 24th Mechanized Infantry will land at Fort Stewart, Georgia, where their families are bursting with anticipation. Caroline Harrell's husband will get to see their 4-month-old baby girl for the first time.
He's just ecstatic. He can't stop talking about how life is going to be when he gets back and how excited he is about the baby. And he just, I guess he's very proud of the work he's done.
In the meantime, President Bush is proclaiming April 5th through the 7th as National Days of Thanksgiving for the Allied victory over Iraq.
For thousands of Louisiana family members, this is a day they prayed would come. While they see servicemen moving out from the Middle East, they know their loved ones are coming home. Tonight, relatives are planning to make sure this is one homecoming their favorite soldier will never forget. Janet Witters has more.
Here at Holy Cross College, they're holding a victory service, but in the crowd are several cousins, wives, husbands, and girlfriends, all plotting how they're going to welcome their loved ones home in style.
I'm going to bring them some Dixie beer, and I'm also going to bring them some crawfish.
And he wants something else very desperately.
Oh, yes, his girlfriend.
She wanted to go on a cruise, so we'll probably try to arrange something like that. And joking with her, I told her we'll just put my boat in the water in Chalmette and run around through the Intercoastal Canal, but I don't think she had that in mind.
Other celebrators will be buying champagne, candy, new clothes. Still others say food is the best way to a soldier's heart.
I was going to dinner at home. He hasn't had a home-cooked meal in several months. I want to keep him at home for a while. Keep the phone off the hook also.
I'm not going to let him go. I'm going to hug him. And I promised him we'd go to the aquarium and Visco's and LaRousse, if we can afford it.
And many people who don't even have relatives in Operation Desert Storm have reason to be pretty proud right now. Many people we talk to say they think the nation as a whole should do something to welcome the troops home.
Well, at least a ticker tape parade. At least, and every time you see somebody in uniform, you got to buy them a beer.
Janet Witters, 6 News.
Many family members are already packing to travel to the base where their loved ones will be stepping off the plane bound for home.
This update on a story that shocked the nation, the Los Angeles police chief is recommending that criminal charges be brought against the officers who beat a suspect in front of shocked witnesses. The incident was recorded by an amateur photographer. Police Chief Darrell Gates says he's working with the district attorney to determine exactly what the charges against the officer should be. Gates says the beating was not racially motivated, but the FBI is investigating for possible civil rights violations. The suspect, Rodney King, says he will file a lawsuit. And here at home, the government star witness in the bribery and conspiracy trial of State Insurance Commissioner Doug Green underwent cross-examination today. Naaman Eicher, a former owner of Champion Insurance Company, admitted he once discussed killing a lawyer in the State Attorney General's office. Green's lawyer, Pappy Trish, asked who the attorney was. Eicher replied, quote, "What I had in mind was a man named Winston Riddick," unquote. At the time, Riddick was conducting a tough investigation of Champion's affairs. Eicher also testified he and his father would have spent whatever it took to elect Green insurance commissioner. A Bridge City man was stabbed to death in his home tonight. Police say Ralph Valley and his wife were having an argument when she grabbed a small kitchen knife. Eileen Vercher also got some minor injuries in that fight. Valley died at the scene. Vercher has been taken to the Jefferson Parish Detectives Bureau, but so far there are no charges against her. In North Louisiana, a judge has given the go-ahead for the body of a 93-year-old woman to be exhumed. Doctors thought Sarah Birch died of a heart attack, but now there's new evidence that she was murdered during a robbery. One of the people charged with the murder is the woman's grandson. He and a lady friend were indicted by a Union Parish grand jury last month.
3 years ago, commercial fishermen were told they could no longer catch redfish. Now the Gulf Coast Conservation Association wants to put an end to the commercial catching of speckled trout. This spring, the GCCA will ask the Louisiana legislature to list both specks and redfish as game fish only. Recreational fishermen say the fish are an integral part of the state's $1 billion a year sports fishing industry. They say the fish are limited in number and make up only a small part of the commercial fishing industry.
We're in for a dirty battle. They don't want to give up what they've had over the years, and we can understand that. And we don't feel like we're being greedy. We feel like we're being resource-oriented.
The 3-year commercial ban on redfish expires this summer unless the legislature extends it. 5 years ago, the Environmental Protection Agency said you have the right to know what chemicals are made and shipped in your area. Environmental groups say you are now being cheated out of knowing which toxics are shipped in and burned at incinerators in our area. Environmental reporter Jared Breaux explains.
Since 1987, chemical companies have been required to tell you which chemicals they release and how much. They've also been telling you when they move toxics off-site for disposal. But this national report by environmental groups says the EPA has created serious loopholes in what you have the right to know. No longer are companies required to tell you what they ship off-site if the waste is going to a so-called recycling facility.
These chemicals, instead of being recycled, they're being burned in some ways, and we're getting air and water pollution out of these different facilities.
Marine Shale is one of the companies receiving a lot of the waste nationally. Other smaller companies use the waste as a boiler fuel and call it recycling. But the loophole means you'll never know how much is unreported near you.
People are losing track of where the stuff's actually going, and they're playing shell game.
Environmental groups are calling on the EPA to once again require companies to tell you when they move their waste and where it is going. Jared Breaux, 6 News.
Most companies in Louisiana do not appear to be sending waste off-site, but many are receiving out-of-state waste.
Coming up next on 6 News, City Council versus the cable TV company is a sign of the times.
And teenagers find out how working and saving are a perfect fit. Teenagers and Tough Decisions when we come back.
I spend quite a bit of time in the dining room, and I make a point of visiting every table. First of all, I meet a lot of nice people, and I like the happiest.
Taking pride in what's uniquely ours, the Whitney.
The mystery
mystery death of Johnny Carson's sexy sidekick, shocking stories about Hollywood's greatest lover, and dark secrets that haunt TV's favorite family. Hollywood's myths, mysteries, and legends.
A Current Affair, Friday at 6:30 on 6 WDSU.
Select from hundreds of quality solid wood dining rooms with saving up to 50% and more during Universal's warehouse sale, now going on at all 3 locations.
Going out for dinner, especially to the veranda, the last thing on my mind would be where to park. Nobody should have to think about parking. They should be thinking about my cooking.
Some members of the New Orleans City Council claim Cox Cable is playing dirty politics. Joe Giarrusso and others say Cox took a cheap shot at the council by advising cable customers to call council members if they had complaints about the recent increase in recent cable bills. The council recently passed a 5% amusement tax, which boosted cable bills about $1 a month.
I'm seriously thinking about nominating them to be the cheap shot artist of the year. And I don't think there'll be any question as to whether they'll get that award or not, but they're sure going to run a real close.
It is a tax against cable customers, not against the company. So we felt that it was important for subscribers to understand and know what they were being taxed for. And the City Council should be able to respond to that.
Cox is fighting the amusement tax in court.
In the meantime, a national cable TV company says it will expand its service to 150 channels later this year. Better yet, it'll start interactive TV. Once the system is in place, people will be able to communicate with other sections of the country by way of TV. For example, a doctor in Chicago could assist in an operation in Los Angeles, or a college student could attend class in another section of the country via TV. There's no word on how much this will cost. And speaking of costs, school systems all over the country have money problems, and Catholic schools are particularly hard hit. The Archdiocese of New Orleans has commissioned a study to find a way of revamping its school operation, which has been running at a $2.5 million deficit over the past 2 years. The system has also lost between 1,000 and 1,500 students a year for the past 5 years. Archdiocese officials say no decision will be made until the study is published, but closing some schools is a possibility.
Public schools, as you had a few years ago. Demographically, there are fewer young people. The Catholic community follows the same general demographic trends. And that's what you've got to look at, and you want to do it in as logical and as humane a fashion as possible.
I'll send you a good
The study is due out next month, and if the Archdiocese is forced to close or consolidate schools, it wouldn't happen until the 1992-93 school year.
Responsible money management challenges us all, and teenagers are no exception. Tonight in our continuing series on teenagers and tough decisions, Russ Roberts introduces us to 2 teenagers who've successfully managed their money.
And in my case, I work 2 jobs and go to school, and I help my parents out, so.
Selling shoes is just one way 18-year-old Adrienne Thomas helps foot the bill for her daily expenses. Half of what she makes goes to her parents to help support the family. She spends the rest of her money on things she needs. A trip to the drugstore for lotion and a few other things can cut a $20 bill in half in no time.
$10 used to last me, what, a week? Now it's just not even an hour, $10 can last me. Because getting the things that I need, or the things that I need, not the things that I want.
Determine what is important to spend our money on.
Adrienne learns money management skills in school and then applies them to her life. Admittedly, though, an aspect of finances she's still struggling with are taxes.
I would cry because they took, $20 out of my check. I would just literally cry. But it's teaching, I still have a lot to learn, but I'm learning as I go along.
Lawrence Favre is learning to budget his money as well. He says while most of his friends are spending their paychecks on clothes and cars, he's made the tough decision to put his money away for college.
I don't buy too many things, If I want to go out somewhere, I usually put about $10 on the side. That's enough to get me into the movies.
But Lawrence says he doesn't get out too often. He spends a lot of his time working to keep his 3.6 grade average. It has earned him a partial scholarship to Xavier. His work check will help supplement that.
The little money I have saved up will go to my books. Any money that I need for books, supplies for school.
So, what's his secret?
There is no secret. You budget your money just like you budget your time.
Which, for most teens, is easier said than done. Russ Roberts, 6 News.
You can pick up your free brochure on teenagers and tough decisions at any of the locations you see on your screen or at any K&B drugstore.
Well, get ready for a tricky forecast. It's
Very
hard to
tricky.
pin down.
Dan's going to try to pin it down for us when we come back. The forecast is next.
You could win $5,000 in solid gold during the Olds Gold giveaway at your Quality Men of Olds. Just test drive any new Oldsmobile and then register for the chance to win gold, solid gold. $5,000 worth every month during the Olds Gold giveaway at your Quality Men of Olds. Royal, Mossy, Rainbow, Mac Grubbs, and Robert Levis.
From the Far East to Europe. Across the Caribbean and throughout North America, only one airline covers so much of the world with so much warmth.
New Concept is my cleaners because they're not just another cleaners. They give me the ultimate in personalized service and quality. My clothes are important to me, and New Concept keeps them looking the part. No alibis, no excuses, just on-time service and great quality. New Concept gives me the most discriminating service I've ever had. And with convenient locations, New Concept really is clean across the city.
HBO wants you to try Cox Cable. Call now and sign up just for basic cable, and HBO will pay your installation and give you a free 30-day trial of HBO. Call now.